Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here with all of you at this beautiful beach, Hammonasset, which is a treasure for Connecticut. And it is also a pleasure to start the celebration of our July 4th holiday weekend. So Connecticut is one of 4 states on track to contain the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a study by COVID Act Now. Connecticut went from a state with one of the highest infection rates to one of the lowest. And this was accomplished by implementing policies based on science, data, and facts, not politics. And so we know that we are not out of the woods yet. And it's important, and our message today is when you go to enjoy our beautiful beaches, please wear your masks, wash your hands frequently, carry hand sanitizer, and practice social distancing. You're going to see the picnic tables here. I see people already using them. Bring a tablecloth if you like, and bring cleaning products if you like as well. At least 16 states in our country are seeing a surge. In Texas and parts of California, bars have been directed to close down during this upcoming holiday weekend, and also some states are closing their beaches. We are not, because the people of Connecticut have been practicing all of those good things like wearing masks and social distancing. So we want people to remember 3 to 4 weeks following the Memorial Day weekend, we saw many red states seeing a surge in the number of positive COVID-19 cases because people failed to practice safe social distancing and wear masks in public. So if you're going to visit your favorite beach or park, and we have many beautiful ones, and you're going to hear from our commissioner in a minute, we want you to remember to please wear your masks, maintain proper social distancing, set up your towels 12 feet apart, and be sure to visit that park that you may never have explored before. It's important to let our residents of Connecticut and the people who are around us know that there are so many different parks. Hammonasset is one of our beautiful ones, but we have many as well. And you might want to check before you come to make sure that it's not at capacity. As Connecticut continues to move very safely and carefully, reopening its economy, we do want to mention, in addition to beaches, that there are a lot of other beautiful tourist attractions, and I'm going to be visiting some of them today, like the Beardsley Zoo and the Norwalk Maritime Aquarium. We have Mystic Seaport and the Mystic Aquarium as well, and beautiful museums like the Mark Twain House and the New England Air Museum, to name just a few. So we want to wish the residents of Connecticut a happy, healthy, and safe 4th of July holiday weekend. And it is now my great pleasure to introduce the lady that leads our state parks, Commissioner Katie Dykes.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and it is a beautiful day here at Hammonasset. Just delighted to have you here with us, and Governor Lamont. We're really excited. This is a weekend that we prepare all year for, to provide great outdoor recreation opportunities for the citizens of Connecticut at our wonderful state parks and forests. 4th of July weekend, it's a time that we all think about our treasured traditions, whether it's going to the beach or having a barbecue, getting together with friends and family. And I'm just so proud of our state, what you all have enabled us to do in terms of fighting this pandemic. And it's because we've all been thinking a little bit about all those traditions, about our habits, about the things we're used to doing, and just making some slight tweaks to our plans and getting educated about how we can continue to celebrate these great traditions and spend time with family and friends and our beautiful outdoors in ways that keep us safe and keep our neighbors and our citizens safe. So what I want to talk to you a little bit about are just a few of those things to keep in mind as you're thinking about how to celebrate the 4th. Our parks are open. They've been open throughout this pandemic. We've been so pleased to provide these beautiful spaces for everyone. It's been so more important than ever as folks have been seeking out our parks for hiking, for leisure, for enjoyment. We expect that this is going to be a really busy weekend for our state parks, as they have been throughout the pandemic. We're going to encourage folks, if coming to the beach is something that you enjoy during the summer, or particularly over 4th of July, keep in mind that our shoreline parks are the ones that are reaching capacity and closing most frequently. So if you're thinking about coming to a beach this weekend, please plan ahead, check ahead. We've developed a new website. It's called What's Open Outdoors. You can Google that. It's at portal.ct.gov/what'sopenOutdoors. And we have real-time updates that are available. It's your one-stop shop to find out up-to-the-minute information about when a beach has closed to capacity. And many municipalities are also posting capacity closure information on that website. So if you're thinking about coming to a beach, please check What's Open Outdoors before you go to make sure that it's available. Please come early in the morning. In normal times, we would see Hammonasset closing at 9:30. We expect that over this holiday weekend, we'll see this park closing and many of our other popular shoreline parks closing even earlier. But the good news is Hammonasset is going to be here all summer. So if you're thinking about coming to the beach, it doesn't have to just be this weekend. Think about a weekday. Think about another weekend through the summer. We're going to be here for you, for your beach experience. This weekend might be a time to try a different tradition, like going hiking at one of our inland parks, or thinking about checking out a land trust. Getting outdoors is a really important thing to do, but we have 142 different state parks and forests that are available. So this might be a weekend to try something different and seek out one of those less traveled hidden gems. I also, as any park that you're coming to visit, of course, continue to keep up that new tradition of social distancing. So folks have been doing a great job. Even though you're outdoors at a park, bring your mask, wear your mask, especially if you're in a parking lot, if you're visiting our restrooms, which are open at our facilities. We want to encourage people to wear your masks. That is one of the most effective things that people have been doing to help contain the spread of coronavirus. Also, maintaining 6 feet of distance as you're passing people on a trail, or when you're on the beach, we're asking folks to maintain 15 feet of distance between blankets. That gives you 6 feet of distance and then a space in between for people who are passing by. Those are just simple rules that people have been following. We want everyone to keep up the good work and maintain the progress that we've made over these last several months. Picnicking. 4th of July is a great time to get together and break out the barbecue. We are supporting picnicking at our parks. Pleased to say that our picnic tables, as they're available, are open for folks to use. We are not able to disinfect picnic tables in between uses, so we do encourage folks, if you're thinking of having a picnic in the park, bring a tablecloth and bring disinfectant. Those are just simple measures, precautions to keep you and your family safe. We also are encouraging folks, if you're thinking about having a picnic, come in small groups, come with members of your immediate household. If you are recreating with folks that you don't live with, encourage you to wear that mask and keep that 6 feet of space as you enjoy and celebrate a picnic this 4th of July weekend and throughout the summer. Another really important thing to share with folks, we're pleased to have lifeguards that are in place at our shoreline parks. We know how excited folks are to get in the water and swim. We are also looking forward to, as not just lifeguards, but many amenities and services that we're able to provide. We do that through the great work of our seasonal workforce, many folks who have joined us for the summer to be park rangers and maintainers and help keep our parks open and provide the services that everyone loves. And this summer, it's a great time to let people know that we are still hiring. So we have many seasonal staff positions that are open, and we encourage folks, we have a one-stop website, workoutside.ct.gov, where you can find listings of many of the varied opportunities that we have available. So as our state is, working to reopen our economy, we know many of folks are looking for opportunities. I can say as the Deep Commissioner, there's no better work experience than being able to be outside and help support our great parks and recreation opportunities for the public. So if you're thinking about a great employment opportunity, please check out workoutside.ct.gov to learn how you can be part of our outdoor recreation mission. Yesterday marked the soft launch of our camping season. Here at Hammonasset, we have a large number of campsites of really popular camping location. And yesterday we opened for RV only. And next Wednesday we'll be doing the full open of camping for RVs, for tents, campers. We're really excited, again, to be able to support the reopening of camping, which we know is so important to many folks in our state. And as people I know are maybe looking at the resurgence in coronavirus that we've seen in other states, it's a great time to remind folks of the wonderful tourism destinations and opportunities that we have right here in our state. We have a park within 15 minutes of every Connecticut citizen and many campgrounds around the state, not just here in the shoreline. So please do check out our website to do an online reservation and think about spending your vacation here in our great state and exploring these wonderful opportunities. If you have any other questions that folks have about visiting our parks safely, please do check out our DEEP website where we have more detailed guidance. One thing that I do want to ask folks for your cooperation with is, again, the most important tool that we have to keep people safe and support social distancing as our parks is that we've limited parking capacity at many of our really popular parks so that we can keep the visitor numbers to a level that supports safe social distancing. And of course that means that our parks may be reaching capacity and closing more frequently. So if you get to a park and you see that it is closed, please don't engage in a debate with our staff about the closure. This is just a measure that we put in place to keep people safe. And absolutely, please do not park on a nearby road and try to walk in. We're asking for everyone's cooperation. It places a lot of stress on our nearby communities. So please work with us. Come back on a different day or a different time. Choose a different park. Check out Visit CT to find out some of the wonderful other opportunities that there are around the state. We're just asking for folks not to park and walk in. And finally, it's a great weekend to get out on the water as well. We're encouraging folks, and boating has been really popular this year. This weekend and all weekends, all times, we just remind people to boat sober and always wear a life jacket when you're out on the water. But it's going to be a great weekend. We're excited to be supporting outdoor recreation and appreciate everyone's cooperation so that we can help keep people connected to the outdoors and keep people safe during this challenging time. Thank you.
Commissioner Dykes, thank you so much. And now we're going to hear from our acting Public Health Commissioner, Deidre Gifford, who's going to talk about how you can keep safe this holiday weekend.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. It's very nice to be here on this stupendous day of weather. Things are going well for us right now from a public health perspective in Connecticut, and that is due to a lot of hard work on the part of a lot of people, all of our healthcare workers, all of our frontline workers, essential workers, and importantly, everyone who has been complying with the public health messages that you heard the Lieutenant Governor and Commissioner Dykes speak about. I can't really do a better job than they've done talking about the recommended public health measures. But I did just want to very briefly touch on a couple of things, and then I'll be here to take your questions if you have them. And that is, if you are choosing to have a gathering this 4th of July weekend, not at one of our parks, what does the Connecticut guidance look like that's been so successful in keeping our numbers where they are? And that's just a reminder that in general, while the weather is beautiful like this, outdoor gatherings are safer than indoor gatherings. That's just a general rule. It's why we're encouraging outdoor dining and outdoor private events. If you're having a private event this weekend, indoors, our guidance suggests it should be no larger than 25 people. And we would encourage you to have, if you're having an indoor event, to keep that to close family and take your events outdoors whenever possible. Our outdoor private event guidance is limited at 100 people. We strongly encourage you to keep those as small as possible again, and wear your masks and keep your distance. If you're eating or drinking, obviously mask wearing isn't going to be possible, but when you're not, put that mask back on and keep your distance from your friends and neighbors. Those simple steps are going to help us prevent an event where spreading might happen. And they are very simple, but they are also very effective. And then finally, I would say for those of you who might be attending a municipal event or others 4th of July gathering, those same guidelines that Commissioner Dykes talked about in terms of wearing your mask, keeping your blanket 15 feet from your neighbor, leaving a pathway where people can walk in between social groups is really important. So those gatherings can be a little bit larger, but it's important that we keep our masks on and keep our distance at some of those celebrations. So I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe 4th of July weekend, and I'll be here later if you have additional questions.
Commissioner, thank you so much. It's now my pleasure to bring up someone who has been a fighter in our state legislature for our environment and for protecting and safeguarding our natural resources and our state parks. It's my pleasure to introduce State Senator Christine Cohen.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and good morning, everyone. It's always wonderful to have the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and the Commissioners here in the 12th Senate District, particularly this picturesque town of Madison and this beautiful park. I know that everyone at DEEP has been working feverishly to get us to be able to recreate in a safe and responsible way throughout the pandemic. And here we are going into a very, very busy weekend, and we want to make sure that we keep all of those protocols in mind, wearing our masks, washing our hands, keeping a social distance where it's appropriate. I was thinking, looking at these folks on the beach, you used to get up from your towel and perhaps remember that you forgot your flip-flops when you left your towel to perhaps use the restroom. Now you may remember that you forgot your mask back at your towel. So turn around, get your mask before you use the facilities, before you come up to concessions, or whatever you need to do so that you can keep yourself safe as well as others. Certainly we're going into a beautiful holiday weekend celebrating our nation's independence, and we absolutely want to celebrate that Connecticut is doing very well from a pandemic standpoint, and we want to keep it that way. So anything that we can do, we all have a responsibility to do that. I do just want to bring up something that we haven't touched on, and that's small businesses, because I have a small business here in Madison, and I know how much we rely on this heavy Hammonasset traffic all the time. Small businesses truly are the backbone, the engine of our economy, and we want to do everything we can to bring our businesses back from the brink. Many were shut down. Many are still not seeing their bottom lines rebound, of course, and we want to do everything that we can. So I just wanted to put out some reminders. While it's going to take time to get things back to pre-COVID levels for these businesses, we can remember to go to our local stores, buy a book, buy sunglasses, buy your beach totes, buy a gift for a friend, go to your local eateries and support them, enjoy a meal out. Make sure you wear your masks and wash your hands and socially distance. Follow the safety protocols that are so important to these businesses. And if you arrive at a business without following protocol, please know that it impacts negatively on them and in turn impacts negatively on us all. We need our economy to rebound. We need these businesses doing well, and we need them to be successful. Be patient with our small businesses. They're doing their very best that they can within the confines of these very, very important safety guidelines on what is sure to be a very busy weekend. Recognize that businesses can't always control others, so if you see something amiss, kindly and politely let management know. But most importantly, enjoy this holiday weekend. Happy birthday, America.
Senator Cohn, thank you so much. She didn't mention this, but I'm going to give Cohn's Bagels a big shout out. If you haven't had them yet, you should definitely try. They're delicious. All right. It is now my pleasure to bring up the state representative for this beautiful beach and district, State Representative Noreen Cocaruta.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you so much. Well, I want to start off by saying welcome to Madison. I'm one of the lucky people. I live a half a mile away. And when it's low tide, I can actually walk here through the water. I think it's illegal, so I don't do it anymore. The town of Madison is so blessed, and they know it, that this beautiful park, it's the largest of all the parks. This beautiful park happens to be in our town. And when the summer is over, that's when you see even more Madison people here using all the incredible facilities, the beautiful trails, Meg's Point, the Nature Center. So we don't take it for granted. It's pretty special. I just want to say that last March, could any of us have imagined we'd be standing here with all these people at the beach? And I want to give a special shout out to our governor and to our lieutenant governor and everyone that was involved, really for taking the hard line of safety. I know you weren't always popular with that, I'm sure, but you know what, it was the right thing. And I think we wouldn't be here today enjoying this if you hadn't really, really put safety first and allowed people in this state. And I think people are used to it. I notice every business I go into, you don't walk in the door without a mask. Businesses are working. We want to be open, and everyone's working together. I'm very proud of Connecticut, and Governor, that's been led by you. I thank you. And I just want to wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful holiday. It's going to be a great weekend. And I think a lot of things have been said today about guidelines and what to do. And I just want to encourage all that. So thank you, and happy 4th of July.
Thank you so much, Representative Cocaruta. I want to acknowledge former First Selectman and now Selectman from Madison, Al Goldberg. Can you wave, Al? Al is representing himself and the First Select Woman, Peggy Lyons. So thank you for your leadership here and in keeping this beautiful town so gorgeous. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our great governor, Ned Lamont.
Hey everybody, and Al and Noreen, and thank you for inviting me to beautiful Madison. Christine, yep, best bagels east of the Mississippi. Make sure you take advantage. And I think you guys all got agree. This sure beats one of those virtual press briefings in the Capitol building. It's delightful to be here, and so happy we can be here at Hammonasset. Hey, are my friends still over there? They run. Come over here and help me out. And pull on my leg if I get boring. Don't pull too fast, though. I just wanted to say, we're here. Hammonasset is open. Our parks are open. Our beaches are open. And if you look at the front page of the Houston Chronicle, it says, this July 4th weekend, stay home. Well, we're open because of each and every one of you doing the right thing. And I I don't want to bore you with the numbers, but I'll tell you, again, yesterday, we did 11,000 tests. That means 80,000 tests for the week. We have plenty of capacity, but sometimes you have to encourage people to get tested these days. Maybe they're not showing symptoms. They feel like we're out of the woods. I think they thought that maybe down in Arizona and Texas and Florida a couple months ago. It reminds you to be cautious. The testing, those that tested positive is less than 1%. It was 0.6%. So that's 7 days in a row of less than 1%. And don't take that for granted, because you've seen what's going on around the rest of the country. You see how that can change fast. But you can see the benefits of paying attention. I was just out walking and, on the beautiful beach, and everybody was being appropriate. Everybody was keeping their distance and making a difference. And as I was driving through here, I was sort of looking for license plates, seeing if there are any Florida plates or Arizona plates. We love you, but not this month, guys. And we did declare a quarantine about a week ago from those states that are most infected. Those states like Florida, Arizona, and now California, where they have pockets that have an infection rate that's 10, 20, even 30 times more than Connecticut. And I wish you all the best. I hope you maintain the protocols like we have here in Connecticut. You can bend the curve a second time. I can tell you, talking to our airlines here, when we issued the quarantine directive, the number of people making reservations coming up from, say, Florida and South Carolina went down about 20%. Number of cancellations went down. I don't say that with any great joy, because we have hotels and tourism, and I don't wish ill on anybody, but it's keeping our state much, much safer. Our hotels are open for business. They're probably at 20% occupancy during the week, 50% on weekend, keeping that limited. We do welcome visitors to our state from the region. That's New York and Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Other states that, like us, have a positivity rate of 1%, give or take. So we can do that safely. But broadly speaking, I say staycation, stay close to home. You've got a Hammonasset or something like this 15 minutes away, or as my security detail says, 10-minute drive away. And so it's worth the visit and taking advantage of our beautiful state. I'd like to leave you with one little message. A friend of mine named Roland Cook, who is our Commissioner of Corrections, is heading back to Utah. And, it's a tough job, corrections, especially in the middle of a COVID crisis. And there was a lot of critique, and there were a lot of lawsuits, and there were a lot of protests. And, Roland, this is from me. I wish you all the best. We're going to miss you. And it's worth noting that Connecticut is the first state in the country to reduce the number of people incarcerated by over 50% in the last 10 years. 50% fewer people behind bars than there were before. And nothing is absolutely safe, but I also got to tell you, we've tested everybody in our corrections facilities. We have one of the very lowest infection rates anywhere in the country when it comes to correctional facilities. And I read one of the advocates who were suing us. And they said, well, maybe Connecticut just got lucky. And I say to Roland, and I say to the folks at corrections, and I say to the folks who are involved in health care at our correction facilities, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And it was your hard work that kept everybody safe in the corrections and throughout our state. And for that, I cannot be more thankful. And somebody's tugging on my pant leg, so I think, what's your name?
Nate.
Nate. You've come to this beach a lot?
Yep. Me and my grandfather bike here a lot, too.
Oh, boy. So you've lived here for a while. Your family has.
Oh, yeah.
You are very lucky.
We live in Brantford, but...
That's close enough. What's your name?
Grace.
Hey, Grace. Thanks for being here. Anyway, that's all I got to say, except to say happy July 4th. We're fortunate to be in this state, in the situation we are right now. Enjoy it responsibly.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Nate. Bye, Grace.
Thank you, Governor. Any questions?
One, perhaps this is for the Commissioner and the Governor. Could you give us an idea when inland state parks might be reopen to swimming again? I mean, that's an issue that I'm sure people are interested in this summer.
Thanks for that question. So that's right. So since Memorial Day, when we announced we'd be starting swimming at the shoreline parks, we announced that we were not able to support reopening of swimming at our inland parks. But I can tell you, spent last week going out to visit some of the inland locations, really assessing what we can do to try to provide that later this summer. We're still evaluating that. We're consulting with public health and other experts. The issue with the inland swimming is not that there's a risk of transmission from swimming, but just that the size of those beaches at those ponds and lakes is much smaller than what you see here along the shoreline. So with the 15 feet of distance between blankets, it becomes difficult for us to accommodate many visitors. But we're looking at that. We're also, again, trying to evaluate what we can provide, because we know how important those locations are for folks, especially as the weather warms. And we're hopeful that our efforts to recruit more people to join us and our seasonal workforce, that's going to be another element of this, because to be able to open those locations for swimming, we also would need to have the adequate staffing to do that. So again, that workoutdoors.ct.gov website, encourage people to check that out. And but we are working hard and hope to have some updates on whether we'll be able to reopen those locations in the next few weeks.
Hey, Governor.
Okay.
There are people, we got reports of people who are walking into like Wadsworth Park and they are swimming against those recommendations.
Yep.
Is there any enforcement there?
Yep. Right. So we have environmental conservation officers. We're working closely with municipal officials to help us do support enforcement around our outdoor recreation facilities across the state. We know that there are locations like Wadsworth that are getting tremendous pressure, a lot of use. So we're working on that and trying to take action within the numbers of folks that we have to do that. But we appreciate everyone's that's why we're trying to get the message out about what people can expect and not expect. That inland swimming is not allowed at this time at our locations, and working to do everything we can to get compliance. Overall, people have been very understanding, but there are exceptions, and we're working to address them.
Governor, can I ask you a variation on, you said some remarks on New York radio today regarding the restaurants. So it seems like you're holding on the restaurants, but would you agree that this weekend is kind of like make or break for both restaurants and bars and in relation to social distancing? I mean, how important is this weekend in the way the state responds?
Yeah, so Ken was asking about phase 3, indoor dining, bars, what comes next. Yeah, this is an important weekend, not just for Connecticut, but I'm also looking around the rest of the country in terms of what the impact is. But I'm 100% with what Deirdre said. Most important thing I've learned is outdoors is much safer than indoors. You know, we thought a couple months ago, remember, the virus was going to go away as soon as it got warm. And then we realized in places like Houston, it's bloody hot to be outside, so a lot of people are indoors there. And maybe the air conditioning is circulating. That's probably one of the things that's causing a bit of a spike. So, yes, we're going to keep our restaurants at 50% capacity indoors. More importantly, I urge you to go outdoors. I urge you to take that outdoor dining every opportunity you can. It's just much, much safer. And Ken, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I think the bars are going to have to take a pause right now. I'm just looking around the rest of the country, and I've seen it's pretty infectious in there.
What's the level of concern amongst yourself and the commission, the acting commissioner of public health, about these beaches being open again? Is there what's your concern? What's the level of concern?
I've walked around out there, Paul. I've seen people are keeping the distance. As I told Ken, the difference between indoors and outdoors is dramatic. And I feel pretty confident. I feel very confident outdoors with the distancing, people are safe. I was terrified about the protests. I thought, my God, 1,000 people arm in arm. And you read right now that was outdoors, and there doesn't seem to be a big spike related to that. It's more those indoor type facilities where you see a lot of the spread. But Deirdre can add.
Yeah, I would add to that exercise and our mental health are also important parts of our response and recovery. And so it is good. People feel good when they can go outside and walk around and experience nature's beauty like we're seeing here. That's very therapeutic. And so social isolation is a concern as part of the response to COVID. So when people can safely experience outdoor recreation, it's a good thing to do to help us cope with what is likely to be a very long pandemic in the United States.
Well, what do you say to both of you? What do you say to people who say that it's too soon still? It's too soon to be doing this stuff now. We're not out of it yet. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, the governor reminds me that right now our numbers look excellent. And that is because we have been maintaining these very important, simple yet very important measures to keep one another safe. And mask wearing is something we do for each other. I protect you when I wear a mask, and you protect me when you wear a mask. And so doing that, washing our hands, not doing parties indoors without masks, those kinds of things can keep the numbers down. We've shown that in Connecticut, and we just need to keep the pedal to the metal on all of those important efforts.
Commissioner Dykes, can you clarify masks here? I mean, you said if you're on your blanket and you need to go, somewhere, you would put your mask on, but you're not recommending people wear masks on the beach. I'm seeing, people walking by here, no one has a mask on.
Right. So the magic number is 6. If you can't keep a distance of 6 feet from another person who's not someone you live with in your household group, then you need to have a mask on. So that's really the guideline that we've been following throughout the spring and the summer. So we want to make sure that even though you're coming to a beach, coming to an outdoor recreation location, if you're going for a hike, you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, do you need to wear a mask? You need to bring your mask, because if you're in a circumstance where you can't maintain that 6 feet of distance, the mask needs to be on. And I'll just add on the beaches, our beaches and our parks have been open throughout this pandemic. And so, one of the things that I know people are going to encounter as they try to come to the park this weekend, for example, is that limited parking capacity, where we've really reduced the number of folks that we can accommodate. That is helping us keep the numbers on the beaches to a level where it's easier for folks to maintain that distance. We know it's frustrating for people sometimes to come to a closed gate. That's why I encourage you to plan ahead. But that simple measure is enabling us to help people keep that distance.
Commissioner, are the bathrooms open?
Yes, ma'am. They are.
Governor, can you provide a little more clarity what you said earlier about the bars might have to wait? Can you tell us about that, and when might you make an official decision?
We have to make a decision on that. I think it's July 6th or 7th. We've generally, for each stage, tried to give people 2 weeks of preparation so they can plan accordingly. So that'll be in about a week. I'm just looking around the rest of the country. I see Texas, I see Florida, I see Southern California, all closing down bars, and I'm learning from that.
Real quickly, different topic. Can you address the reports of recent article about folks not being able to call into the office, not being able to leave a message? There was a Connecticut News Junkie article. Do you have a response to that? Any changes?
Calling into which office? Labor, my office?
Yeah.
That surprises me, because all those calls are call forwarding to our team that's supposed to be taking those calls at home. So let me look into that.
Some folks weren't getting a message, or some asking them for an email, but older folks might not use email.
No, we're supposed to be there answering calls. That's really important to me. That's called respecting the taxpayer.
Governor, I had a question about minimum wage. Next minimum wage increase due September 1st, I believe, from $11 to $12 an hour. Has there been any thought? I think on the books there's some language that says that if there are 2 straight quarters of negative GDP, that the labor commissioner can recommend a pause. Has there been a discussion regarding that?
No, there really hasn't. We sort of made a deal with working families that they deserved a raise, and we're planning on about $1 raise coming up, as you said, this fall. I think we've have a new sense of what an essential worker is. It's not always correlated with how much you earn. And I think I'd like to make sure we can maintain that commitment.
And for my buddy John Craven, who couldn't be here today, his question was, he said a lot of News 12 viewers are telling him that with regard to municipal tax bills, I guess there was a July 1st application deadline, and he said a lot of the viewers are telling him they didn't know about that. Is there a chance that that could be extended?
First of all, I think it's July 15th, and I think most municipalities have put in place a process where you have an extra 3 months to make those payments. You've got to make the payments. You're going to have to make your rental payments. These are not things. A grace period gives you a longer period of time to do what you've got to do, and we've tried to do that with municipal taxes as well.
Would you say that the thing that concerns you the most heading into this weekend is how many folks are coming in from those highly infected states with the high hospitalization rates?
I think the answer to that is yes. I mean, look at the couple of folks went down to Florida, came back to Chappaqua, went to the graduation party, boom, flare up. So I joked before, I was pretty happy driving around, not seeing a lot of Florida and Arizona plates. Hey, thank you, everybody. Great being with you.